Good morning, dear respected Thai, dear respected community. Today is June the 7th in the year 2020. We are in our spring retreat in Plum Village. Already we are halfway through the year and recognizing that this would have been our 21-day retreat. We would have been enjoying a Dharma Talk all together with all the other hamlets, as well as many friends from around the world, practicing and coming together to nourish and to cultivate the energy and the seed of awareness in oneself, as well as awareness in the collective body of our society, of our country. It's been a heavy week for the world. There has been a lot of unrest. We are here in Plum Village and we have been practicing, and so we, not all of us may not be up to date with what is happening outside. So I can share just a little bit briefly so we can have this awareness also as a community. Just a few weeks ago in America, a man who was black was killed by the police, and it was recorded and it was shown. And while watching this video, everyone touched the seed, touch injustice and touch racism that is still so alive today in society. We thought that we could come together and live together as flower of one garden, the garden of humanity. And we learn to understand and respect each other. But still, the seed of discrimination is still deep inside the seed of humanity. And through this incident, it woke up the mind in everyone, in humanity, and to say that this is not correct. And we have to shine the light to suffering. We have to shine the light to racism. And we have to speak up, and we have to show the system that we don't accept this, and we don't close our eyes towards these actions. And there has been many protests within the last days, weeks. First in America, in many states, and slowly it is now being shared, and many places in different countries in the world have also been shining the light to this mind of discrimination, to the actions of discrimination, to the violence of discrimination. We have had peaceful protests also, protests in Paris, in many European countries, England, London, as well as different places. And we see that suffering, when somebody suffers, when someone dies, we also die. There is suffering inside of us also. when somebody suffers and when there's violence like that, it affects all of us. It touches this fear of safety. And as a community, as a monk myself, I have been also dwelling and taking care of my feelings and my emotions, and not to touch the seed of discrimination in me. I could embrace the situation, what is happening. I can identify that this is wrong action. But I also have to light up the wisdom that is also present in us. The wisdom that the Buddha have taught us, the wisdom of non-discrimination. And as we are a community, we are also a very international community of many nationality. It is so clear to us that when we are open to life all around us, we can be in touch with beauty and culture and traditions, and we don't discriminate. Because in every tradition, in every culture, there is beauty in it. There is beauty of love, there is beauty of compassion, music, stories, and they are all teachers for us. But when we become narrow-minded and we don't have an environment that helps us see beyond a separate self, we can be caught in a view, an idea, which in return nourished our complex of superiority. We feel that our race is better or is more superior, and we feel that we have more talent, we have more rights. And with this complex, we create suffering because we see other as inferior, or we see other as trying to be equal to us, and we want to punish, we want to protect what is only right for us. So when we look at the root of discrimination, we can be in touch with the three complexes. And we have to meditate daily and recognize these complexes in our daily life. In our community also, we have to recognize and call it by its name and smile to it and transform it through our thoughts, our speech, and our action. The way we look can be an action. When we look with openness and inclusiveness, our eyes shines love, and our eyes shines compassion, inclusiveness. But when we are being covered up with discrimination, ignorance, our eyes can express hatred and division. And so we know that as a practitioner, even as the way we look at our brothers, our sisters, our friends, that is action itself. Do I cultivate equanimity while I look? Is there loving kindness? in the way I look at you. So we know that as a practitioner, these are the seeds that we cultivate, not just in meditation, but it has to be engaged, it has to be applied as the way we live. Our root teacher, the Buddha, had to also transform the seed of discrimination. The Buddha was born in India and was born into a system of discrimination divided by caste, by 5 castes. Brahma, like priests, and then there's a caste of warriors and kings, politicians, a caste of merchants and landowners, a caste of commoners, peasants, servants, and the bottom of the class called the untouchables. Being born right into a system of discrimination, of division. And sometimes even the animals have more rights than humans, untouchables. And the Buddha, as a young prince, he recognized that there was so much suffering in the world, in the palace, in the streets. And when he embarked on his journey of spirituality, he wanted to find a way to liberate himself. But more importantly, he knew that if he can liberate himself, then he can help others liberate themselves. So it was not a journey of selfishness. He knew that if he can succeed, many will benefit. And as a monk, as when the Buddha became enlightened and touched awakening, he touched the seed, the insight of non-discrimination. And in the insight of non-discrimination, we can see that we do not exist by ourselves. We don't exist as an individual. When we look at ourselves, we can recognize that inside of us, there is our father and our mother. Those are 2 conditions that had to come together for us to manifest. And after that manifestation, we continue to need to rely on other sources for us to survive, for us to exist. We have to have food, we have to have environment, education. Love is a condition that helps us grow, helps us understand. And so when we look at our own individual self deeply as a meditation, we can touch that seed of non-discrimination. If we remove any of these conditions, very clearly, we lose ourselves. We don't exist. And so therefore, in the ultimate truth, we don't rely on a passport to give recognition to of our presence, because we are more than just a country. We are more than just one race. We are more than just one individual. When I look at myself and meditate on Pháp Hữu, I can see very clearly I have many streams of life inside of me. I was born in Vietnam, so I have a Vietnamese heritage. But later on, my family moved and immigrated to Canada. And so I have a second stream, a stream of the Western education, the Western culture. So I also have Canada, this heritage of the West inside of me. And then I have the education from the schools, the system of the school, as well as suffering. My parents had to go through the war and have to suffer from poverty. And also, when coming to the West, we also had to endure a new way of living. And from time to time, also being discriminated. So I know this seed is also in me. This wound is also in me. And when growing up, especially as a young person of Asian heritage, sometimes we don't know where we belong. Am I Vietnamese or am I Canadian? And I have a complex of not belonging, of not existing as equal. And sometimes because of this concept and this idea, I would cut myself off from my own roots. I still remember very clearly days that I have shame in eating Vietnamese food, bringing Vietnamese food to school. And I wanted to be like a Westerner. Whatever that means, maybe just to have a sandwich, peanut butter and jelly. And even though now I look at it, I can smile and I can laugh, because now I enjoy the Vietnamese sandwich much more. There's more flavor. There's more ingredients. And there's more richness. But that is a reality, and that is because we are not being shown, we are not being taught to come home to the island of self and to recognize our beautiful culture and our beautiful existence of being different. And the Buddha, when he created his Sangha, he broke this chain. It was a very strong revolution. First, he had to start off with just allowing men into his community. And it doesn't matter what caste you belong to. It doesn't matter what background you belong to. If you have touched suffering and you want to now train yourself in the way of love and understanding and cultivate mindfulness, compassion in your daily life, then you have the right. There was no background check, whether you're from the royal family, whether you are a servant, whether you have been a teacher before, always accepted. And that was a very strong statement. And it shows, and it was a teaching in itself, that everyone has the seed of love. Everyone has the seed of hatred. Everyone has the seed of violence. But if we come home to our field, our island, and we take care of that soil, the soil of our consciousness, and we all could touch the seed of awakening inside of us. And it doesn't matter whether you are an untouchable or you are a prince. That status is just an illusion. And the Buddha, when he created that Sangha, broke that chain. And later on, the Buddha made another revolution, was to accept women into the community. As we know that was not common. And so the Buddha was also a person who always helped us see the true value in life and for us to be free. Because when we touch this seed and this insight of non-discrimination, we are free. We become more free each day. We become more accepting. Our volition, our ideal is to touch this seed and to realize it each day. But at first, it may be still small. But the more we practice loving kindness, compassion, joy, and inclusiveness, our heart continues to grow and our ability continues to accept. First of all, we accept our heritage. There is so much richness in our own heritage. And now, when we look at our present moment, we can also touch the richness in our community. And so we know that the more we are in touch with difference, the more we are rich. It's just like today how international the world is, especially when it comes to food. Why do we limit ourselves to just enjoying pasta, spaghetti? Right? It could be very boring. We've all enjoyed this and suffered this in Upper Hamlet. Sometimes for weeks we just have spaghetti. And then suddenly somebody, a brother, a sister, comes and offers us a different meal with more flavor, with something sometimes we don't even know what it is. But we're open and we taste it and we can be, wow. This is also part of our world, this wonderful cuisine. And we enrich ourselves and we allow ourselves to enjoy beyond our boundary. And when we look at humanity, I've always really enjoyed when Thai teaches the children on the 4 pebbles, and especially when Thai teach the first pebble, which is flower fresh. And every time Thai says that when you practice flower fresh, you recognize that you are a flower, and other brothers, sisters, humans are also flower in the garden of humanity. I've always really enjoyed that term because it is so true. Just looking at a natural garden that our community has generated for many years and taken care of. Plum Village at the beginning was very unorganized in an organic way. And I've learned this from the stories of my elder brothers and sisters who first were here. Anybody can be a gardener, and anybody can plant any tree. And so in the garden of Upper Hamlet, there's no structure. There's no one type of tree in one garden. But you can, now that you come, you see in one garden you have a pine tree, you have a willow tree, you have a cactus, you have a palm tree, you have a rose bush, you have a Japanese maple. At first, it may look so chaotic. I was like, wow, where's the structural mind? Who is organizing this? I'm someone who is very structural. I like to organize things where there's a calendar, where there's structure. No, this is this zone, that is that zone. But then when now, after 38 years, when you come to Upper Hamlet, you see all the trees are fully grown and offer its shades and offer its color. You can see how beautiful it is and how wonderful it is that it's not just one type of tree, and how enriching it is. So us as human species, we have to learn from the trees. They share the same land, and they grow the roots, and the roots support each other. They don't fight for nourishment. They even have the insight to share the nourishment. We have been cleaning our gardens during the spring, especially with no retreats going on, no big retreats going on in Plum Village. And I've had a chance to also help clean the bamboo forest at the Hermitage, as well as I see the brothers and sisters trimming the bamboo forests in Middle Hamlet as well as in Upper Hamlet. And if you ever see the root of the bamboo trees, you see that it intertwine with all the other roots. And when I meditate on that root, I can see that even the bamboos have that insight of non-discrimination. They all support each other. They all bind together. And that's why the bamboos are so flexible and so strong and firm. No matter how strong the wind is, and when there's a storm, usually you never see the bamboo being uplifted from its roots. But you can see it in an individual tree, like a pine tree or a maple tree. If there's no protection around it, a big storm comes, it uplifts the root. But I never see this as in the bamboo forest. but the bamboo know how to move as one. When one wind pushed to the left, all the bamboo dance to the left together. When the wind comes and pushes to the right, all the bamboo flows to the right together. Because at the soil and at the foundation, the root are holding the trees together, holding the bamboo together. And it creates a stability. And it does not think of itself at that time. So as humans, we can learn from nature every day. We can see how it is life and how it's teaching us. And in this garden of humanity, when we touch this insight, we become more free, and we learn to be open to each other. And we see the beauty in the difference in the person. A lot of nations now is, if you remove all the other race, all the other culture, that nation is very empty. It's like that nation then doesn't exist. So the difference in each other, the difference in our skin color, in our culture, it is not to create boundaries. But if we touch and the nature, the insight of non-discrimination, then we enrich ourselves more. And I think this is why everywhere in the world people are protesting. People are now speaking up about discrimination and racism. That is the true name we have to call it. And police brutality. There has also been many peaceful protests. Our brothers and sisters in Deer Park has joined a protest in Escondido just a few days ago to show our solidarity with our brothers and sisters in the Black community. Let us listen to a sound of the bell and be in touch with the non-you element. Just by the oxygen, that is a non-you element. So you know we cannot exist without these fresh oxygen. In our own body, we also have the teaching of non-discrimination, non-duality. When a part of our body is hurt, all the other part of the body recognize it right away. And it let go of whatever it is doing to come and protect and to reduce the pain. Many years ago, I tore my ACL by joyfully playing football with all my brothers, playing soccer. And even today when I speak about it, I can still remember that incident very clearly, because that pain is engraved in my senses. But every time I remember it, it teaches me how my body reacted and how my body came to care for it. At that moment, when my left knee was injured, my whole body was in shock. And I remember crumbling down and holding the knee tenderly. I knew that there was an injury, there was suffering. And I had to stop whatever I am doing. And I had to come and embrace tenderly and carefully take care of it. At that moment, there is no self in the body. That injured left leg is the injury of the whole body. My right leg doesn't feel more proud that it is now more healthy. It doesn't think that it is more superior. But my right leg suddenly now has to understand and find a way to support the left leg so that it can heal properly. So even our own body, we have this insight of non-discrimination, the insight of inclusiveness. So when we see a race that is being discriminated against, there is pain, there is suffering there, it's very clear. Then we know that is part of our body too. We have to do everything we can to protect it, to embrace it, and to care for it, so it is not continue to be hurt. There's no more violence towards it. The left leg by itself may not have enough strength to do that. The left leg, by being hurt, may not stand up by itself without the other support. So this is why collective awakening comes in, where it comes in. This is why this is why there's protests collectively everywhere right now. When we see that a part of our human garden is being hurt, being destroyed, how could we be happy? How could we not bring our awareness towards it and give it all of our attention so that we could bring and light up the insight of collectiveness, of non-discrimination. And we are continuations of the Buddha. We are his student. We have to continue to keep this insight alive. Our teacher practiced this during the war, the American War, the Vietnam War. He did not take side on the left or on the north or the south. He shined the light where there was suffering, and that there was innocent people being killed on a daily basis. And so in our DNA as student of Thai and of the Buddha, we have that insight in us. And we have to reawaken, and we have to continue to individually and collectively practice to water the seed of love, understanding, and compassion in us, and in inclusiveness. We have to reflect on our own way of living. Not on a big scale, first on a small scale. Just as coming into this Sangha, this community, we don't live alone. We cannot succeed alone. Our way is the way of a beloved community. It is a bridge, a foundation that Thai has built, and this was also a shared aspiration with Thai's friend, which is Martin Luther King Jr. As an individual, our impact is very limited. But as a collective, the wave is bigger and stronger. And so when we come to our community, we learn to accept the difference inside of us and around us. We recognize that my brother on the left, my sister on the right, my friend in the front, my colleague in the back, they also have suffering. They also have differences. And I don't have to fight that, but I learn to see them as they are. And I learn to see deep inside of them also the many good seeds that are present. And I also recognize the seed that needs to be transformed. But we don't transform alone. We can transform as a collective. It was thanks to Plum Village that I feel so liberated from this complex of being Vietnamese or being more Western. When I came to Plum Village, my first time in 1996, there was we have many festivals here, as you know, from the Rose Festival that honors the love of our mother and our father, as well as our ancestral ceremonies to help us reconnect to our roots. And also the Moon Festival, maybe one of the most joyful celebrations within our summer retreat. And during those festivals, we were encouraged, whatever culture you're from, whatever background you're from, you're encouraged to wear that traditional clothes. And I remember in Plum Village, they had a storage of traditional Vietnamese dresses for boys and girls. And it was handed to me. He's like, my name was Nhiem. Nhiem means responsibility. And he said, little Nhiem, wear this today. Wear this to reconnect to your roots, to know that many people in your country are wearing this. That is one of your origins, your heritage. And when I wore it, I could be in touch with the beauty and the simplicity of it. And as I looked around, I see other children in different dresses, in different outfits. You can see the richness of history. And through that, I saw how much beauty there is in my own heritage. And I can tap into that because it is engraved in me. But at the same time, now I can also be in touch with so much wisdom and so much insight that I have also learned from the West. And I don't discriminate, because all of these knowledge and all of this richness has helped me to understand and help me grow each day. And therefore I could become a bridge. I could be a bridge in my community. I can be a bridge in my family, sharing with my parents the beauty of what I learned. So they may not have this chance. They might not have this capacity. Even spiritually speaking, in this Upper Hamlet meditation hall, maybe 70% of you were not born with Buddhist background, with a Buddhist heritage. We come from a different spiritual tradition from our ancestor. But thanks to your openness and thanks to your capacity to embrace all teachings, you have allowed yourself to accept something new, to accept something all the way from India, all the way from Vietnam. And so we don't discriminate. And we don't have to feel and divide. Is this Vietnamese or is this Western? Is this spiritual or is this not spiritual? Because all of it, all of the teachings and all of the richness that have come to us helps us manifest. So you cannot remove it. If you remove it, then you remove understanding from you. You remove love from you. You remove your capacity of embracing, of inclusiveness. I wish that maybe as a community, we have 4 weeks during the summer retreat, and we celebrate three different celebrations. We have the Rose Festival, like I shared, the Peace Festival. Cultivating peace, so important. We don't have to wait for war to bring peace and bring awareness to peace. It's actually we have to continue to practice peace so that war don't start. That's why we have to celebrate peace. We have to bring light to peace and teach and continue to teach the children the importance of cultivating peace in themselves and peace around them, in their little circles of friends, to their circle of family, community, and etc. And the third is the moon celebration. And we used to have the ancestral ceremony, but it was sometimes it was too foreign. It was too different, and it wasn't easy to feel connected to that ceremony. So we removed it. So I think, and we've been looking for another celebration during the summer. I think we have to celebrate cultural difference. A day where we bring out the beauty of our culture. In Thailand, our brothers and sisters in Thailand, they do this once a year during the New Year retreat. They have a very international retreat, and I see they do different booths. If you're and all the lay friends participate, and you wear a traditional dress during that day, and you're at your booth, and you can share the beauty of our booth But most importantly, what brings us all together and what helps us enjoy the culture? Food. And I saw pictures and I saw videos of it. And I saw all of our friends, Sangha from Japan. They wear the Japanese kimono. And all of our friends from Korea wore their traditional dress, Vietnam, etc. And I think this will be very joyful, very festive if we, in the next time we open our summer retreat, that can be one of the celebration to celebrate the difference in humanity. All of our Italian brother can cook a beautiful Italian dish. All of our French brother, crepe, croissant, baguette. So enjoyable, so simple. During that, we have been experiencing this, thanks to a lot of our French brother Đức Hiền, doing the crepe, sit there 8 hours creating crepe. But when I see him do that, I see pure joy because he gets to share something so deep and so lovely from his culture. And when Brother Bao Tang, our Indonesian brother, does Indonesian noodle, not only he enjoy, but we all enjoy. Right? And now in just this meditation hall, we can count already over 10 different nationalities. How wonderful it is. How wonderful it is to be together with differences and still be able to enjoy the differences. So we are also living this practice, but we still have a long way to go. Because when I recognize in myself, I can also see the seed of discrimination in me. I can see it in my thoughts and even in my speech. And through this recent incident and the mindfulness bell that is being rung around the world, it's helped me to come back to see. And I see that in my speech sometimes I choose words that divide. Or in my thoughts, I say, oh, that's a sister thing. That's not a brother thing. That's discrimination. I have to recognize that. And sometimes I say, oh, that's so Western. That's a Western thing. And when something I don't agree with, I can say, that's an Asian thing. So I know I have that seed in me. And I have to continue to transform this discrimination also in me. And so we know we have to take care of our daily actions, even in our thoughts, in our speech, and in the way we are, our actions. Of course, we could prefer, there are things that we prefer than others, but it doesn't mean we don't accept. There are some things we know that others enjoy more, but we don't enjoy because it doesn't enrich us or so. But it doesn't mean we discriminate against it. Like radish, huh? I know radish is really good. We've been having a lot of wonderful radish from the Happy Farm. I can't enjoy radish. I don't like the taste. There's this zing to it and there's this texture that I just don't enjoy. But I enjoy seeing you enjoy it. See, it's possible. when we look just at food, but we have to take it to the next level of ourselves and as a community. And I don't have to also feel inferior because I cannot enjoy radish. I remember when I was attending Thai, also enjoys food a lot. And one of Thai's favorite vegetable that he enjoys eating is bitter melon. It's very good for you. Anything that is bitter is good for you in the Eastern medicine, especially your liver. And I remember, and Thai when he was, when you get to attend him, Thai helps us practice inclusiveness. Traditionally, in a traditional temple, if you are attending your teacher, you're not allowed to eat with your teacher. You stand behind and you just observe. And if there's anything that he's lacking, you serve more or you clean up. But Thai, one of his way of developing his community and bringing him close to his students is sharing a meal together. And it doesn't matter if you're a novice or you're a venerable. Thai, if you are there, Thai will invite you to eat with him. And he will also share his food. And I remember one time he gave me bitter melon. And I told Thai, I don't like bitter melon. And Thai said, well, it's good for you, just learn though. You can slowly acquire the taste. And I ate it. I did not enjoy it. But I learned to try something new and also learn to see if I am capable of enjoying it. Because I know we're always changing. Even our taste is always changing. So our capacity is also always changing. And if you continue to be open to it, you will acquire that. You may be able to accept it later on. So being with Thai, just seeing him always share his food and not being selfish it was something very moving for me. As someone as highly developed as Thai, as a Zen teacher, as well as his capacity of love and understanding, to just see a young person who still is so naive, but he sees no difference because he sees that in that young person also has the capacity to grow, to be awakened, to grow, to be a person who could love more, a community builder. Therefore, he doesn't discriminate. He doesn't say, wait until you're a Dhamma teacher and you can give a Dharma talk, then you can eat a meal with me. So in this time when I reflect on myself, I feel sometimes so naive. I felt that I know I have the teachings of non-discrimination, so therefore I don't discriminate. And I'm a monk. As a monk, I don't discriminate. But looking more deeply, I still see this root needs to be transformed. And all of us, we also have that inheritance of discrimination, whether we like it or not. It's been handed down to us. And we, as a monk, as a practitioner, as a nun, we have to transform that seed. If we don't do it, we will continue to transmit this. And it is a never-ending cycle. Because in discrimination, there's layers of anger, hate, and violence in it. And more violence bring more discrimination. So that is why we have to learn to stop. We have to learn to recognize and stop it. We stop that cycle first within us. Because if we stop it in us, then the future generation can learn from that, and we don't transmit that down. And we have to allow understanding, compassion, this wisdom to be transmitted. We have to educate. And that's why our Plum Village retreats are so important. It's a big pity that, but it's very understandable why we cannot host during this time. But some young novices have shared with me sometimes they still don't understand and see why he or she is a monastic, what he or she has to do. It is very clear. We have to transform this seed, and we have to nourish and educate ourselves with the seed of love, compassion, and understanding. We have to embody this first. And therefore we can be teachers and we can transmit this. In Vietnamese, a bhikshu, we call them Thai. When you become a bhikkhu, you're called a teacher. So part of our task, of our role, is to teach, to share. But you have to first do that work on yourself. You have to tend your garden. You have to recognize the weed that are growing. What are the flowers that need to be watered? And we have to slowly remove the fence that separates us. That's why every summer we welcome hundreds of children here. If you come to Plum Village without knowing exactly what it is during the summer retreat, you may suffer at the beginning because you think you come to a retreat that is in silent. But suddenly you see hundreds of kids running around, screaming, playing football till 9:30 p.m. The mindfulness inspector have to come, ring the bell 20 times to tell the children, let's practice some silence. But in these retreats, they are being taught and they are being embodied and they're being embraced by this energy of love, this energy of peace. They're being taught that just by being with us. That's why we host, and that's why we continue. We call it planting seeds, so that it can grow later to bring more flavor to flowers, to this garden of humanity. I'm a child of Plum Village. My first retreat was a summer retreat. I left the retreat with not knowing much about the Dhamma. But I left the retreat with the feeling of how peaceful that place was. How loving the people around me was. to be in an environment where you don't have to fear. That is one of the greatest conditions. When you know that beside you are people who are learning to love and are learning to care for. That energy penetrated that young 9-year-old boy. And the second thing that I left Plum Village with was how fun spirituality could be. How embracing a community or practice could be. So the children that come to Plum Village, the brothers and sisters who take care of them, we know that teaching them mindfulness is just one tiny corner. It's watering the seed. But it's the whole collective environment that is impacting them. And when you play with them, that is a way of transmission. I remember the early days in Plum Village. We used to have a lot of small projects, so we always needed fundraising because the retreats that we offer is only enough sometimes to just support financially the monks, nuns, and the living lay community with us. And so we have to do fundraisers to get extension of a hall or etc. And one of the way was to make food and to sell food. And I remember many of us invested our time and energy in making spring rolls, making banana cake, etc., etc. And it was very festive, especially after Dharma Talk of Thai. They had the Dhamma rain, so they're very full with the Dhamma rain. But then they're very hungry. So the food market was a big hit. But after like 2 or 3 years of that, Thai told the monastic community, Thai said, "Dear community, Thai knows the food market brings a lot of joy. But nobody goes walking meditation with Thai because we are all eating the food." And so we had to find another way. And during that time, when we were selling and fundraising, a lot of children helped us. A lot of the children helped us sell and help us just offering, being with the monks and nuns. And I remember I witnessed this child. As we were selling, he stole 2 or 3 euros. He put it in his pocket. I was about to yell at him, but I said, wait, I want to observe. I want to see what's going to happen. And somehow this kid, something was happening in him at that moment when he stole that few euros. And then he left, and he came right back. And he came to the table, and he said, "Oh, I found somebody dropped 2 euros, and I found it. I think I should give this to the community." Somehow in him, he knew it was wrong. He knew that this was wrong action. And being in this community, being in this environment where we teach to not steal, to not take what does not belong to us. And that child, I don't know if he was guided by the monks of that lesson yet, but in just the environment, in the energy of the community, of mindfulness, and of right livelihood, he knew that it was wrong. And he understood, and he came back, and he had to be skillful. Maybe he's too ashamed to say, took this. So therefore, he found a story that would work. And that story was, oh, I found this €2. Somebody must have dropped it. I give it to the Sangha. So an environment of what we produce, our energy, is very important also. It can help others be free. It can help others touch rightness, righteousness, ethnic in them. Let us listen to a sound of the bell. The other flower of the Buddha's awakening is the flower and the insight of interbeing. We know that when we harm someone, we harm ourselves. When someone else suffers, we suffer. And when someone else is cared for and loved, therefore we are cared for and loved. And this is a teaching that doesn't have a religious background. We can see it very clearly. And that's why in the last years, our teacher and our community, we have bring movement to wake up schools, to first let the teachers take care of themselves and relight their aspiration of teaching children. As we know, they are our future, and we know that we have to continue to transmit this wisdom of interbeing. When we can see the other's suffering in ourselves, then we have more understanding, and we lift up this barrier, this fence. The earth, Mother Earth, has this insight. Whatever we throw at her, whatever we pour on her, Mother Earth embraces and transforms it for us. So when we connect to the earth and we look deeply at the earth, we know that we also have to be responsible. We have to support the earth. We have to let the earth teach us non-discrimination. Whether we pour fragrance or we pour toxin, she accepts it all. She embraces it all. And this is a collective insight that we need in today when we look at changing our way of living in order to reduce carbon footprint, as well as to transform our planet and to support our planet. I feel much lighter being able to share this, because in the last weeks I've been practicing with this practicing with this suffering, this hurt, this pain that is happening, that has happened, and if we don't speak up, it will continue to happen. And that is why, as practitioners, we have the insight, and we have to transmit this insight, this teaching, this insight of non-discrimination. And in the teaching of non-discrimination, we can see the teaching of love, namely the four teachings: loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity, inclusiveness. In our love, if we have these four elements, we will transform our seed of discrimination. We will transform our views and our ideas of division. So let us continue to light up this insight. And as an individual and as a community, we continue to water this seed and plant this seed in us, in our community, and in the present generation as well as the future generation. It is so important. Without this insight, this wisdom, we will continue to just suffer. We will continue to discriminate. We will continue to behave violently, and injustice will continue to flourish. And that is what we have to do as monastic. That's what we have to do as practitioners. That is a torch of wisdom that we have to carry. So when you receive the Dhamma lamp and you become a Dhamma teacher, you have to light up that wisdom inside of you. And now you have a responsibility of transmitting that lamp, that light of wisdom. And there's many ways of transmitting that lamp. It's not just by sitting on this podium and giving a Dharma talk. It's the way of being, the way of sharing a meal, the way of being there when someone suffers. That is non-discrimination, because his suffering, his pain is yours. Therefore, you are there. And you don't have to wait to be a Dhamma teacher to transmit this wisdom. My dear brothers and sisters, friends, you have that light in you, you have that fire in you. It's given to you, transmitted to you. And you have to protect it, you have to practice to keep the flame alive. In this way, as your flame is light up, it can rekindle other flames that are more weaker or yet has not sparked up yet. And as a community, we have to do it together. As an individual, it's too heavy. It's too heavy to lift this. It could be overwhelming, overbearing. And that's why it's also ties insight that we need a community. We need a beloved community. We have to continue to nourish our beloved community in our thoughts, in our speech, and in our action. Thank you so much, dear brothers and sisters and friends, for listening and practicing. It gives me a lot of strength, and it allows me to be my true self. The Sangha has allowed me to come back to my true home. Allow me to recognize the so many different heritage that I have, and so many different teachings that have been transmitted to me. And I have a lot of seeds I will continue to work on, continue to transform. Seed of violence also in me. And within the Sangha, you have allowed me to also touch the non-me element. It has given me space, it has given me freedom. Allow me to love more, allow me to accept more. And sometimes it's just accepting myself, my own suffering, my own doubt. Am I good enough? Am I worthy enough? And not to be carried away by that. And to know that that is also a non-me element. And I don't have to be afraid of it. But I could look at it with light. And I can transform it. Because I can water other seeds. I can recognize the other different wisdom in me. And now I am everything. And being with all of you continues to nourish that in me. And I know with this insight, I will continue to learn to be more free, to be more liberated. And therefore my words and my speech, my action will carry with it the insight of non-discrimination. And this is a work that, this is a practice that we're all doing here as a spiritual family, but also what I know many of our lay Sangha are now doing outside as they are joining the protests, as well as they are building their beloved community, their beloved Sangha, their beloved family. And it's so important for us to educate and to transmit this wisdom. Transmit in a way that is understandable, with love, not judging, not criticizing. Thank you so much.